What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So guys, channel membership is now live. Link is in the description and the first comment. Do check it out. That would really help support the channel. So Leonardo Paris, the guy who plays runner-up behind Good Vito at the Honor Brazil just this past weekend, he deserves more recognition and more media coverage. He brought a tremendous overall package. Too bad, he was up against a genetic freak, a very tough opponent in the form of Good Vito. Now I know some people are gonna say that he just did not make good first impression on the judges when he first came out. But the thing is, he just wasn't flexing his hamstrings and the glutes when he first came out. And that is why he looked a bit soft in all those areas. But if we look at the comparisons of him and Good Vito later in the show, he wasn't nearly as shredded as Good Vito, but he wasn't soft either. So there was some tremendous size on this guy. And in some of the shots, like the front leg spread, he had a better overall look than Good Vito. Now we have already established this fact, that the men's open bodybuilding, that is undoubtedly the most difficult and the most brutal and most combative class in the pro bodybuilding. Now it's easy for us to say that these pros, they should be more cautious of how the waist is looking, especially in the off season, and make sure it doesn't grow. But it's not the ideal case scenario for everyone out there. Just look at these pictures and videos of Leonardo from back in 2023. He had a very aesthetic look, but the fact is he needed more muscle, more mass. And I think we can all agree he brought superb size and great overall mass here in Brazil. But the thing is, his waist was also wider, and that is something that he just cannot afford to do with the kind of height that he has. Now that being said, this current physique, that is gonna do very well if he can come in a bit more sharper in the upcoming shows and maybe choose a show more strategically. Now in many cases, we have seen such impressive size gains that kind of come at the cost of a wider waistline. So this is a very accurate example, and we have heard about this phenomenon, that once the waistline gets wider, it's next to impossible to bring it back. So Kennedy aka Colusius Ken, he gets another day closer to making his IFBB Pro debut at this upcoming mighty New York Pro, and that is gonna be in less than 6 weeks time, and things are rolling extremely well for him now. So this is one of those mass monsters to look forward to in this upcoming season. And this wasn't the case with Ken, let's say 2 years back, when he won his pro card. The fact is, Ken has packed on so much size, so much muscle in these past couple of years. And the great thing is that he has maintained a great shape as well at the same time during that entire growth period. And the closer he's getting to making his pro debut, the more shapely his physique is becoming. Now considering the kind of competition that is gonna show up at this upcoming New York Pro, Ken needs to bring the condition as well, and he cannot slack in that aspect, even a tiny bit, because with all that size, he needs to have the condition to really stand out and to make that great first impression on the judges. Because we have to keep in mind, this is his first time going against the pros, and that too some very big names. And we have all seen it in the past, that the rookies can get kind of overlooked if they did not bring the condition. But that being said, I don't think this guy is gonna get overlooked because of his humongous size, and more specifically, if he can get absolutely ripped. The size on him, that is just way too hard to ignore. He's gonna hit that front double biceps, and he's gonna take quite some space on the stage, as this guy is also very wide. So he's gonna have a lot of stage presence as well, and this is his chance to make a very good first impression. So Ken is coming back to the stage after taking the entire last year off, and the entire last year that was dedicated to a proper off season, making sure he has enough muscle on his frame to battle it out with all those big boys. Now that being said, it certainly is a very difficult show to make your pro debut, because we're expecting quite a deep lineup at the New York Pro this year, because the Pittsburgh Pro, that is just 1 week before this show. So what do you guys think? Can he finish in the top 5 at his first ever show? Or can he place even higher than that? Guys, we have a limited time offer. If you buy any flavor of Bloodshot, you are gonna get a free Dying Breed t-shirt. The discount code is on the screen right now, and use the code FAZI10 to get 10% extra discount. So the former 2 times Miss Olympia Big Ramy today at an event, looking big as a house. But that being said, not nearly big enough compared to the days when he was chasing that Miss Olympia title. Because back in the day, when he was in his prime, he was around 340 pounds in the off-season. So I wonder, what really changed Big Ramy's mind on deciding not to compete anymore? Now I know he hasn't officially announced his retirement just yet, but he hasn't been on the stage for more than 2 years now. Now for those of you guys who do not remember, the Arnold back in 2023, that was his last competition, where he placed top 4. So the last interview that Big Ramy did, and where he actually talked about his competition plans, that was after the Olympia back in 2023. Now all he said was that he just did not care about his placings. He just wants to get up on that stage and compete one more time. But those just aren't his feelings anymore. Now last year there were some rumors that he might come back, and there were some rumors that he was working with Patrick Tour, but that also did not happen. So maybe thinking in depth about the consequences of staying over 300 pounds. When this guy is turning 41 years old this year, that kind of got to him. And it's definitely not worth the risk. Because the fact is, this guy has already cemented his legacy. And the judges placed him behind Andrew Jacked at his last show, back at the Arnold 2023. And that was a smaller version of Andrew Jacked. Now he had a lot of gaps in his physique. And as per Big Ramy, the Arnold 2023, that was one of the favorite looks of his entire career. And the man still did not get the nod from the judges. And even a legend like Phil Heath said that his placings at the Arnold, that just did not make any sense. Now that was a clear-cut sign that the judges just do not like his look anymore. So looking back at Big Ramy's career, the best years, they were at the beginning of his career, where his quads weren't overly big and he had a very tiny waistline, and his back was also superb. So the 2013 and 2014 Big Ramy, that was a sight to behold. So do you guys think we will ever see Big Ramy on the stage one final time? So the more years he stays away from the stage, the more unrealistic that will become, and the chances of his comeback are already very little, and I'm gonna say non-existent. Next up we have a 7 weeks out physique update from Florian Poirson. So the road to Cali Pro and the road to his comeback in the men's open bodybuilding after wasting, yes I'm gonna say wasting, multiple precious years of his pro career trying to fit in that classic physique category, that is now on the way. So every single physique update that Florian has posted this year, he has looked more and more impressive with every passing week. He was always meant to be in the men's open, and is turning some heads with the progress that he has made during these last few months after switching over to the men's open and after putting on so much muscle in just a matter of 6 months. So you look at his most recent update and you can just see the man has got those world-class quads, which are a bit overwhelming compared to his upper body. So he definitely needs to bring up his arms so that he can have more balance, top to bottom. Now the good thing is that Florian did not rush with this process of transitioning into the men's open from classic. He took his time. He made the announcement last year and he took a full long off season to get close to 300 pounds. So right now, 7 weeks out, the condition is on point, and those are facet pictures. If you really want to have an idea on how big Florian is, just have a look at these guest posing pictures of him from just a week back. Now we only saw Florian as a men's open bodybuilder at his pro debut in Portugal, and that was 6 years ago. And that was a very standout physique. So switching to classic, that just gave him one advantage. His waist remained super small for all these years, and that is gonna be a big strength for him in Cali Pro. And this is gonna be a very much anticipated comeback. So with this post from the reigning Arnold champion in Classic, Mike Sommerfeld, it's confirmed that the Pittsburgh Pro isn't gonna be on the cards, and he's more focused on growing and trying to bring his best to this year's Miss Olympia stage in October. And he wants to be the first only man in this division to win that Classic Physique Miss Olympia title. Now Mike almost reached his maximum body weight that is allowed for his height in Classic at this past Arnold, and there is just nobody in this lineup who can rival him in terms of pure density and muscularity. Now we are now 5 weeks post Arnold Classic this year, and Mike is still maintaining a phenomenal shape, and he has slowly started to grow as well. Now as of right now, Mike on paper, he is the favorite to win Classic Physique title this year. He showed his consistency by peaking 100% for both the Olympia as well as at the Arnold. And we have to keep in mind, both these shows, they were actually a few months apart. And he won this past Arnold in such a dominating fashion. Perfect scores by the judges, and it doesn't matter whether the fans were divided on Logan being more classic than Mike. To the judges, Mike Sommerfeld perfectly fits the definition of being classic. And he has that insane clavicular width with a very small waistline. His V-taper from the back, that is so insane. I guess the only issue, that is the way his chest is attached to his delts. Something which just cannot be explained in words. That makes people think that he has an overall open bodybuilder look. So for now, Mike is cruising into the off-season, and him skipping Pittsburgh Pro. That will allow him to present a fresh package at the Olympia this year, which by the way is the ultimate goal. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.